Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books. Well, today we're talking about a rumor that I think has a lot of credence to it. It makes good sense. Kathleen Kennedy has been fired, but is not yet leaving Lucasfilm. The rumor is that she'll leave by around June. There was obviously a big change at Disney recently. They finally got rid of Bob Chapek. Bob Iger came back in. And there's a focus on, well, what are they going to do to try to fix Disney? Bob Chapek was following Bob Iger's strategy at Disney, which was to focus tremendous efforts and billions upon billions of dollars on their streaming service. They have had some success with market share with their streaming service. They're running about equal to HBO Max in terms of market share. That part's good. What's bad is they're losing tremendous amounts of money operating Disney Plus. That absolutely has to change. It cannot continue. It's one of the main reasons Bob Chapek was thrown unceremoniously, without even a heads up, thrown out of Disney. It is a streaming death spiral. I want to cover this in a separate article because this author and I are pretty much on the same page with respect to how much trouble they are in at Disney because of Disney Plus. However, what is going to have to happen is they're not going to be able to continue to not make Star Wars movies. That's ridiculous. That makes no sense. Even Kevin Feige, who has his own version of all sorts of woke Marvel movies, can still put out Marvel movies. Star Wars is an incredibly strong brand, even though it's been damaged so viciously by Kathleen Kennedy with the whole future is female. You know, it's an interesting parallel to look at Kathleen Kennedy's efforts versus Kevin Feige's efforts. Kevin Feige has been successful with these Marvel movies. Black Panther is out now. It will probably do something like $800 to $900 million. It might not be profitable. It might barely or not even just break even. But Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness did like $950 million. That made money. He did Thor, did more than $700 million. That made money. There were drop-offs, there were problems, but nothing to the extent that Star Wars isn't making money. All Star Wars can do at this point is live on Disney Plus with a series of shows that people care less and less and less about. So something needs to change. And this rumor, I'm seeing it reported in a number of places. It is pretty much all from one source who got it from two other sources. But it fits very well with Bob Iger making changes at Disney to get Disney functioning and working again. And if he does not get Disney functioning and working again, it will be the end of Disney, especially as a separate company. But it's really impossible. Tell me what you think of this in the comments below, but it's impossible for them to actually own and control Star Wars and not make Star Wars movies. That can't be. That needs to be turned around. And Iger is probably the one to do it. We covered panic over at Lucasfilm a couple of weeks ago with this video, Total Panic at Lucasfilm Star Wars. Kathleen Kennedy can't figure out how to make a Star Wars film. She just can't. She doesn't know what to do. Someone else new has to come in. So this is coming from Giant Freaking Robot. Star Wars boss Kathleen Kennedy, next to be fired? Seems like it. Let's get into the article. Before we do, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Click the bell notifications. Give me a thumbs up when you like it. You guys have been great. The channel's growing. I really do appreciate you. Earlier this week, it was announced that the Walt Disney Company's former CEO, Bob Iger, has made his return to the company as Chief Creative Officer. He was the driving force in acquiring many notable Disney-owned intellectual properties, including Lucasfilm. Now there are unconfirmed reports that the job of Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy is in danger. And she can't functionally make Star Wars movies, not even woke Star Wars movies, anywhere near on the level of what Feige can do. Not even one a year. Not even one every 2 years. She's going to have to be replaced, and she knows that. The Direct reports that there are, this is the Direct over here, it's another great website. The Direct reports that there are rumors that Disney plans to relieve Kathleen Kennedy of her position. For 10 years, Kennedy has presided over the brand and has vastly expanded the projects being developed for Star Wars, as well as the upcoming Indiana Jones 5 and Willow series. But there's also been the closure of LucasArts and rumors of hectic productions for several Star Wars projects, including Solo, a Star Wars story. That was a total mess. And The Rise of Skywalker. Nobody liked it. Not to mention, the box office returns for Solo were less than desirable. For years, there have been stories circulating that Kathleen Kennedy's time with George Lucas's old studio is numbered, and a new development may see her departure sooner than later. Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy have never been pals, so it remains to be seen how things will work with the pair. with them working together again. Iger will surely put the Lucasfilm issues at the forefront of his to-do list. In 2019, Kathleen Kennedy remarked in an interview with LA Times that future Star Wars films will move away from the trilogy structuring as it can be restricting. Iger countered this in an interview with Variety, where he remarked, "I don't know about that." They did not agree, and went on to say that he and Kennedy talked about trilogies being difficult. Still, he didn't appear to count them out completely. Iger also talked about listening to and respecting the views of Star Wars fans, while still being careful not to overreact to their responses, especially those of the more hostile internet trolls. Well, that's a friendly thing to say, but Iger knows the value of brands and knows how to acquire them. It doesn't mean that Iger is going to do everything we like with the brands, but it does mean, to mention that you have to listen to the Star Wars fans. And sure, if you want to say some of them are trolls, that's fine. You can't say that everyone who loved Star Wars before you acquired Star Wars is, quote, a toxic troll or something like that, or a toxic fan. They're fans that expect it to be listened to. Those are the ones that give value to the brand. YouTuber John Campea says he has sources that have informed him that the move to remove Kathleen Kennedy has already been decided. Campea has contradicted other reports that Iger is a fan of Kennedy, and she will at least remain through her current contract that ends in 2025. He always thought Iger and Kennedy got along well, and his return would secure her position. Now, this is the bottom line. Yes, they've produced some Star Wars shows for Disney+. No, the good ones weren't weren't being made by and all creatively decided by Kathleen Kennedy. It was under her umbrella, but it's not too hard to determine impact of Jon Favreau, for example, on the success of The Mandalorian. Things like that, you know who's bringing success in, you know who's not bringing success in, you know who's responsible for things. People, of course, also talk. We see this in articles. It's well known at Disney who is and who's not being productive at Lucasfilm. Additionally, there's no production. There's no films. So without the films, you can't say that you could be responsible for making films and, hey, don't worry about it. And it is a serious death spiral over at Disney+. They cannot keep spending money like this and dumping content. Even if the Star Wars shows were bringing people in, they can't keep spending money the way they've been spending money. And you can't just operate Lucasfilm only on dumping stuff on your own streaming service. That's not leadership of the brands. Again, I don't like what Feige has done with his woke projects and things like that. I'm not going to be the first to go out and see Ironheart when they finally spin that out as a film. But at least Feige can put out movies that if they don't break even, they make a profit. That's very important. It affects their licensing and merchandising as well. Tell me what you think of that in the comments below. He went on to say, 2 separate sources have notified him that his speculations are inaccurate and Kennedy could be out in the upcoming year. If the rumors are true and Kathleen Kennedy does get pushed out, Lucasfilm could see a new president assigned in 2023, and that person will oversee the numerous projects rumored to be in development. Lucasfilm's next major theatrical release will come supposedly on June 30th, 2023, with the premiere of Indiana Jones 5. Well, that would be a good time for her to leave. Starring Harrison Ford. The movie will also use the aging CGI to alter Harrison's appearance in the film in the opening sequence. Let me know what you think of this in the comments below. Is there any chance that Iger coming on, trying to figure out what he's going to do to make Disney successful, is going to say, hey, you know what, Kathleen, just go ahead, do whatever you want, never make another Star Wars film again, nobody cares, or is he going to trust her to fix it? It's been 10 years. Everyone has seen what's happened to the Star Wars brand while Kathleen Kennedy was in charge. It's obviously time for her to go. But let me know what you think of that in the comments below. Do you believe this rumor? Do you think it makes good creative and business sense? Would love to know what you think. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up when you like it. And I'll see you again soon with another video. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.